there would have to be a lot of oversight. Thank you.
I'm concerned about the privacy issues, as probably everybody is in here. But I do think they have a purpose, and it's not spying on us. As a 50-year pilot with 27,000 hours, I'm intimately familiar with the aerospace system, and an area I like to touch on that hasn't been mentioned is the safety factor. You got a bunch of drones up there flying around, you got a bunch of private pilots up there flying around. What's to keep them from mixing up? And that's something that the FAA is dealing with right now in trying to develop laws, rules, and regulations to prevent that kind of thing from happening. So it's something that we need to consider. It's really an FAA proviso.
I think part of the issue has to do with the fact that we are losing trust. And when we look at the various agencies across the country and they're using various tools to do whatever they're doing, we have lost trust that they're doing the right thing. I can tell you, I think I saw a drone last week actually. I was coming home up 95 and I saw something in the sky that didn't look like a plane, didn't look like an ultralight, and it wasn't big enough to hold a person. So I thought that was very strange, and I watched it as it went on up the highway. The best thing that I think that I'd like to see happen with the drone is that Amazon.com delivers a package to my door.
I think most of the concerns with drones have been addressed. I agree. We need to protect our privacy and use drones properly. They're definitely a good technological tool for going up, surveying property, monitoring our borders, monitoring our forest. They can identify insect infestations, root rot, but they can also identify places where the fuel has built up that needs to be harvested, taken care of, reduced, so that we don't have a huge fire that will destroy our watersheds and our forests. I do agree. We have privacy concerns. I do not want them to be used illegally. We need to come up with good directives and guidelines on how drones will be used, and they need to be used properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. The next questions will be from Ms. Keel. What benefits do you bring to Bonner and Boundary County because of your longevity? For example, JFAC, roads, and college money.
Thank you for the question. I believe that experience in the state legislative position brings us as communities the opportunity to utilize that experience to know where you can work to make sure that your issues are being addressed. You build, being in the legislature is about relationships with your colleagues and making sure that you can work together and identify those commonalities that you might have, and also identify the differences that you might have, and be able to work together to identify those instances where you can support one another for the betterment of the state. And being experienced and being on the budget committee in particular gives me an opportunity to provide service to this area by knowing what our priorities are and being in a position to make sure that we're addressing those priorities, like the expansion of the North Idaho College here in Sandpoint.
Thank you. In viewing your Facebook page, I was shocked to find that Democrats were registering as Republicans so they might vote for you to win the primaries. To me, this indicates you're a rhino. How do you respond to this?
You know, I am a Republican, I always have been, and I believe in the conservative values that are outlined in the Republican preamble to the platform and many pieces of the platform. And you know, it's been an interesting dialogue. We have some candidates running for higher office on the Republican tickets, actively and openly encouraging Democrats to register as Republicans, and vice versa. And with the new election laws, I think you see that happening everywhere. I have not asked specifically for anyone to do something contrary to their philosophical beliefs. I've not gone out and recruited folks to change their parties. What I've said is, here's my philosophy. I'm a Republican. I hope you would consider voting for me. I hope that you would consider becoming a Republican if you believe and share my conservative values.
The 2013 Freedom Index score is -79. You have 18 years in Boise and rated 32 to 35 senator. Why are you continuing to run?
Thank you. Couple things. First, I'm continuing to run because I've had the overwhelming support of the voters. I've been blessed with and I'm honored by that support. And each of the times I've thrown my hat in the ring, the voters have overwhelmingly given me the honor of their vote and their confidence. Perhaps this time I won't have that confidence and I won't have that honor. And in that case, the voters will have spoken and I will go home to a full-time citizen. You know, this question's come up. So last night I went through this book. This book is the list of special interest groups or organizations that are registered with the Secretary of State. There are 400 organizations in this book that are registered with the Secretary of State. The preponderance of organizations in this book have a scorecard. On some, I do bad. On others, I do great. So you all are my scorecard. The ballot box is my scorecard.
Please explain your vote on off-duty carry on campus.
Thank you for that question. I voted no on the college carry campus bill, carry on college campuses bill. That was before us this legislative session. A couple things, it had not only off-duty and retired law enforcement, which I actually could support if it was in a bill by itself. However, it also made a differentiation between concealed weapons permit holders and enhanced weapon permit holders as well. Two things. One, the NRA brought in 2008, I believe, the very language that I supported that put into place the opportunity, or actually the responsibility, of college presidents and universities to set the policies on their campus for gun control or and those policies. The NRA supported it in 2008. I voted for it. I believe in local control. I believe that presidents know their campus is the best. The bill that just passed has created a patchwork now of zones on college campuses where you will need a map to know where you can take concealed weapon permit or where you can take if you have an enhanced permit. It also undermines current policies that allow staff to carry on some of our college campuses. It was a bad bill.
The next questions are actually for George Eskridge and Sean Keogh. So Mr. Eskridge, if you'll join us up here. We'll start with Ms. Keogh. You voted for the ACA because it is the law. You were elected almost a generation ago to take back Idaho lands, and now the feds claim more than 60% and claim their own water rights. Since Judge Roberts said states are sovereign and sometimes need to act like it, what does Idaho's sovereignty mean to you both under the Constitution?
I do believe in Idaho and our state rights. And a couple things. Idaho's implementation of a health exchange at the state level has protected us from the federal government. Every state has an exchange. If we overturn the state exchange, we will have a federal exchange. That's simply the fact. All 50 states have an exchange. Some have federal, some have state. Idaho's state exchange protects us from the federal government. The federal land has not grown in its percentage, and I have been on the forefront in leadership positions in working to have an opportunity to manage those lands, and we know that we can do a better job at the state level and meet the goals that the federal lands are for.
Okay, as far as the Affordable Care Act, I did not vote for the Affordable Care Act. In fact, I supported Idaho State when we challenged that and took it to the Supreme Court along with other states. I did support the Idaho State Exchange. That's different than the federal exchange. And I voted for it for one reason. It's better than the federal exchange. And you had three choices. You had your own insurance program. You could take if Idaho didn't take the federal exchange, then you could take that federal exchange, or you could go without insurance and pay the penalty. I like to think I gave Idaho a better choice. You can continue with your own choice. You can sign up for the state exchange, or you can decide not to take insurance and pay the penalty. The fact is, the state exchange is built on the needs of Idaho. It's cheaper than the federal exchange. It uses people that reside in Idaho and are professionals in Idaho. It's not implemented by people that believe in affordable choice and other federal societal concerns that I don't agree with. We don't have to carry abortion coverage. There's a lot of differences, and the federal exchange is better than that. I think I ran out of time on one question.
Mr. Eskridge, we'll start with you for this next one. This is another paired question. Since your respective votes for the healthcare exchange, are you pleased with the healthcare progress?
I'm certainly not pleased. I think it needs to be improved, and I think we're going to continue working on that. I will tell you all right now, if I had the ability to repeal the Affordable Care Act, I would do it right now. The problem is, I'm a state legislator. I'm not a federal legislator. I'm sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Idaho. That is a federal law. I have to abide by it. I can try to improve it from the degree I am a state legislator, but I cannot repeal it. And for those that say they're going to go in and repeal it as a state legislator, that's misrepresenting their position to all of you, because we cannot do that. We don't have that authority to do that.
Once again, the question is, since your respective votes for the healthcare exchange, are you pleased with the healthcare progress?
So in regards to the federal level Affordable Care Act, I am not a fan of that act, and I don't believe that it helped address rising healthcare costs or the quality of healthcare either. However, ditto what Representative Eskridge said, and I'm not, and again, the Idaho State Health Exchange is far better than the federal exchange, which we would have if we repealed the state exchange. That's simply a fact. And I don't like the way it's rolled out. We've had some problems with it. Hopefully the legislature has fixed some of the accountability measures, and we will see those problems rectified. But we're protecting Idaho citizens from the federal government by having a state health exchange. And I also think there's much more work to be done at both the state level and the federal level on health care in this country.
Thank you. Senator Repeal, we'll start with you for this question. How much out-of-state campaign money is warranted?
You know, thanks for that question. When you enter a race, you enter it to win. And every campaign donation that I get, or any candidate gets, is recorded by law. It has to be reported to the Secretary of State, and it has to be shown on your reports. Quite frankly, if I did what my opponent has accused me of doing in the opening remarks, I would be breaking the law. That is a criminal act to sell your vote. And so I would encourage anybody who feels as though I sold my vote, that they file a complaint, because it's a criminal complaint. File a complaint with the county prosecutor, the Attorney General's office, and the Secretary of State. It costs a lot of money to run campaigns. I raise money from citizens here, and again, those donations are all public knowledge.
How much out-of-state campaign money is warranted?
You know, I can't answer that question, because I don't think it's a consideration of what comes from out of state, what comes from within state. I think the issue is, you know, when people donate to your campaign, they donate to it because they like the way you represent yourself in the legislature. They may not always agree with you, but they like the way that you represent yourself. They like the way that you're accessible. They like that you listen to both sides of the issue, and then you try to make the best decision regardless of what their particular interest is. I've voted with and against people that have donated money to my campaign. I can't even tell you right tonight who has donated to my campaign, but I will tell you that a substantial part of it is from people that live in this area. But I will tell you very strongly, nobody is going to buy my vote. I don't care how much money they give me, they're not buying my vote. I represent you guys. I'm trying to do the best I can for you, and that's what I'm going to continue doing.
Thank you. Those are all the questions for both of you.
We're off the hot spot.
You're off the hot spot, yeah. This will be a general question for all candidates. Once again, we'll start on this end and then just follow the person sitting next to you up to the stage.
And one thing too, we say 1 minute, you don't have to go right to that 1 minute, the faster the better. So.
Thank you. Okay, we'll begin down here with Mr. Bailey. What is the budget for candidates for the office that you speak?
Contribution limit, there's not a budget. All right, who wrote this one?
Next question.
Yeah, I think so.
I wrote,
Yes, ma'am.
the word is seek. The office that you seek, what's the budget that you set out for yourself? If
What's
I'm
the
a-
campaign budget to be
Yeah,
elected for
if
that
I'm gonna run
position?
for this office, how much is it going to cost me?
Got it.
Okay, that makes sense to everyone? All right, we'll begin with Mr. Bailey. Yeah. Okay, so what she was saying is she would like to know what is their budget for their campaign. Is that correct, ma'am?
No, not personally.
Okay.
If you're running for county commissioner, what does it cost to run for county commissioner? What does it cost to be a state representative?
So she's looking for the cost of running for each position, correct? So what is the cost of running for your position?
County commissioner, the most I've heard of is about $50,000. I know of 2 individuals who had to spend that much. I hope to be able to get by with between $5,000 and $10,000. I'm still collecting contributions, so if anybody would like to contribute to me, I would welcome that. Thank you.
Thank you. I think each and every candidate on this stage would be asking you for a contribution if you support their candidacy and you support what they stand for. A budget is what you anticipate for revenue, and then you also anticipate expenses. Frankly, there is no set budget for running for county commissioner. It depends upon what the revenue is and if you have support from your constituents. At this point in time, I've spent less than $2,000 on my campaign. I have no idea how much I'm going to spend, but I will join Mr. Bailey in the request for checks. If you would like to write one out, I'd be happy to take it. Thank you very kindly. My name is Marsha Phillips, May 20th.
Thank you.
I'm there too. Please make checks available to Todd Siddick for commissioner. I think there's 2 parts to this. One is whether it's how much you spend in the primary and how much you spend in the general election. So if it's a hotly contested election, you could spend an equal amount in both sides of you could spend $10,000, $15,000 as some have in the primary and come right back and spend the same amount of money in the general election. So some candidates can get by spending $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, and I know people that spend $40,000, $50,000. So there's no set amount.
Good evening. I'm kind of on the same page with Glenn. I'm planning on spending between $5,000 and $10,000. My husband and I had planned to go to his high school reunion this time this year, and we have been saving for about 3 years for that trip in Germany, 50-year high school reunion. We decided when I decided to run for office, that we would take that money and put it towards my campaign. And again, any donations are welcome, and you don't have to spell my last name, just put Victoria Z.
There is no set budget for running for a state legislative office, and it really it's across the broad board. You know, I think one of the best things about campaigning other than getting out and being able to see everyone and refresh the issues is the economic development that comes with campaign funding. We provide a tremendous boost to our local media. Newspaper ads, radio ads, signs, mail, all of those things cost money. In our case, for the Legislative District 1, to hit every mailbox in our legislative district with a simple mailer is about $6,000. And so the costs add up quite a bit. And then the budget and what we're going to spend is kind of proprietary information, and we all rush to see when the campaign finance reports come out how much each other spent. And it's not beyond our advertisers to play us off one another so that we spiral our budget. And beg for money.
I think for the office at this point, I've probably spent about $5,000 last. 2 years ago, I spent about $14,000. People are having a harder time now just putting food on the table. So there's a lot less donations and there's a lot more candidates. So this time I think we'll be spending a lot less getting out to the 55,000 people in our district. Thank you.
I believe it's very sad it costs so much money to run for office, whether it's county commissioner or state level office, the legislature. In the days of our founding fathers, they used to go around in communities and you would see massive voter turnouts, much bigger than this, and it's unfortunate we have so few people that would get involved. And you would get up there and you would give your speech and the best man would win, and you wouldn't have to go out there and spend an arm and a leg to make it. Nowadays, we have incumbents that have quite a bit of money, and they have all the support from the special interest groups to make sure they stay in and vote the way they want to vote. Now, I do believe that, it doesn't necessarily buy a vote. Someone was going to do what they're going to do regardless, but it certainly gives an incentive. I probably spent about a little over $2,000 right now. I'm just getting started. I kind of got thrown in the primary last minute, and so, I don't know how far it's going to go. Most of that came from myself and my family, and I just believe you got to do what you can to get out there and reach people and do what's right.
I went to the finance training session last month in Coeur d'Alene. We're allowed to take $1,000 per campaign from each individual, except for the party, where we're allowed to take $2,000. So that means I can take $1,000 from each individual in here for my primary, $1,000 for my general election. And from my party, I can take up to $2,000 per election. I personally am not being supported by the party under the ticket that I'm running. They have denounced me from the get-go. Lord Whitley, or Floyd Whitley, it's not Lord Whitley, called me 30 minutes before the campaign closed, or the candidacy closed, and told me that I needed to get out of the Constitution ticket because they didn't want to spend the money on a primary. So right now, I have about $250 spent in fuel, and I think I saw my wife panic when she heard the numbers these people were making. My name is Jack Mervin, District 1 Senate candidate, Constitution Party.
Hi, I couldn't go to that meeting in Coeur d'Alene, and by the way, as a Democrat, I'm looking for a treasurer, because right now I'm my own treasurer, and I really want to focus on, after the primary, focus on running a credible campaign for November. So I had a kind of a snide comment to make, which is whoever I'm running against in November, I'm going to probably have to spend at least as much as they spend, plus, what do you figure, $500, maybe $1,000? But so much of this information, if anybody's really interested, the Secretary of State has all the reports online. We can look them up, you can see budget, so I'll be working on my budget shortly. Thank you.
My ex-opponent raised $65,000 last time he ran. It came from special interests. A candidate can put in as much money as they want to run for office, and a person can donate up to $1,000 per person for your campaign. Let's see, what else was I gonna say? I just find it humbling. I started back in November with this journey, and I find it humbling, the people that have supported me, and I see a lot of their faces here tonight, and I just thank you for the support, and it does take money, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I expect to spend more than $10,000 in this campaign. The majority of it is mine. To date, I expect that I've more than matched every single contribution personally with my own funds and my own time. What's more valuable to me than the money is the time and the hard work. I think sometimes we get too focused on what the money costs, but there is no substitute for getting out, knocking on people's doors, calling them personally, asking for their vote, and attending these forums. So as much as we get focused on money, the real work comes in things like these. Thank you.
Well, let me say I use every available means of campaigning available to me, including door knocking. And I'm sure many of you see me come to your door, knock on your door, and ask for your support. But I also use the media. And I've got to tell you, David has got good salesmen. They're costing me money. We've also got the mailers, and as Senator Keel has indicated, one mailer is about $6,000. So to answer your question directly, I will tell you my budget for running both for the primary and the general, given that I have to hopefully run two elections, my budget for both of those together is $22,000. I hope I can make that work. It's surprising how much money it spends on very little. I hate to tell you this, I shaved my mustache. So I had to spend $135 today to get a new picture for my brochures. So to the degree you would like to help me, Tom, I'd appreciate that very much. And there we go. Thank you.
Having run a commissioner campaign last time, I can tell you the costs go up exponentially with the constituency. That being said, money buys votes. It's a vulgar term, but it certainly does, because it buys advertisement, it buys the public's attention, and people that get out there more and are able to be seen more through that money generally have a better chance to do it. So I think it would be prudent perhaps to look at some sort of limit to level the playing field, to get back to a point where it becomes issues, candidates, what they're representing truly. Getting out and speaking to people is imperative. But if there wasn't that disparity in fundraising, it would certainly help the process, I think. Thank you. Sage Dixon, I'm running for the House of Representatives.
Well, I come up here and I listen to what everybody has to say, and my mind is boggled because I don't spend that much. Mostly because the people that I support, or that support me, I go from 5 precincts in Bonners all the way down to Riggins. I have a very large place to cover. So I don't really look at how much I got. I allow my treasurer to do that, and a lot of it comes out of my own pocket. I have a little card for my bank account for my campaign fund, but I don't always use that for my gas. And so I don't really know how much I spend, except for when I first started my campain 3 years ago, I started out with $1,200. And that's what I went through, and I knocked on doors, and I did all of that, and I still do that. So I don't have a lot of money, and if you guys want to give me money, that's okay.
Okay. Our next question is specific to state House and Senate candidates. If those candidates could please step forward. Yeah, and and you can actually just stay right where you are. This is a for or against type of question. So just signal thumbs up, thumbs down. What is your position on homeschooling, beginning with you?
You're awesome.
All right, thank you. You may take your seat.
Get him, girl.
The following questions are for Heather Scott.
Ball of fire.
Okay, please be specific. Had you been in the House this last term, would you have voted to allow guns on college campuses?
Yes.
Okay. No, that's okay. What is your position on Common Core?
I'm against Common Core. It's a top-down. We signed on to it. We signed on to it before it was even written in order to get stimulus money. It's a complex system, and what I like to say is Common Core is the education as the Affordable Care Act is the health care. It's an unfunded mandate by the state. And it's complex. It's when people say, "What do you think about Common Core?" It's not. It's standards. It's testing. It's funding. It's not just a simple answer. It's so complex. You can't just pick and choose the good parts of it. It's all or nothing, and I'm against it.
And finally for you, Ms. Scott. If Idaho was able to gain control of its public lands, could Idaho officials sell off the public lands to private interest groups or individuals? How could we as citizens make certain that this doesn't happen?
Ooh, can I go grab my folder? I got a lot of good notes on this because, yes, they could sell off the lands, but what people don't realize is right now, the federal government can sell our lands. They have the title to our properties and they can sell the lands. It's not constitutional, but it's legal. And so, do I think we should? No. But Utah has done this. Utah has taken back their lands. They have passed legislation to take it all back, and now I just looked at their last session. They passed 10 laws and all the steps to protect what's going to happen with that land. So that's what we need to do. It's not like we're going to get the land back, and I just think we can manage it better at a state and local level.
Thank you. The next question is for Christian say your last name for me? Fioravanti. Thank you. Christian, you do not have a chance as a third-party candidate. Why are you running as a spoiler to allow liberal Sean Keogh to win?
Well, I've been a Republican my whole life. In this election, I decided to run Constitution Party. I don't want to go into the specifics of things that rumors people have said. I believe in the Constitution Party platform. It's very similar to the Republican platform in the state. Many same values. But I'm kind of sick of the two-party system, the control they have, and what they've been doing for the past 150 plus years. So I believe that I actually can win. I don't agree with the statement that third parties cannot win. I think many people who run third party don't run very good campaigns, don't go out there and reach the voters, don't try to fundraise. So I think it's very possible, and I really want to support the people of this district. I believe people here support freedom. They want the constitutional rights to be brought back and the federal government to be reined in. And so I believe I'm the best candidate to bring that about for the state Senate seat. And I think we'll see what happens in the primary here. It may change the mind of the person that asked that question. I really think they were off base with that.
Thank you. Next question is for Marsha Phillips. Marsha, you supported paving most or all county roads. As commissioner, will you finish this project if elected?
I did not support paving all or most county roads. Actually, what happened is there was a pavement management plan that was put in place It was done after considerable study to test the roads to see which ones might be able to be paved. Actually, when I was in office, I don't think any county road was paved.
Thank you. Yes, those are all the questions for you. We now have a general question for all of the candidates again. Once again, this will be a for or against. You may remain in your seats and just provide a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We'll start on this end. The question is, Idaho is a non-disclosure state, meaning that certain data about closed real estate is not public. Where do you stand on Idaho remaining a non-disclosure state? Yeah, so again, you're going to show either thumbs up that you are for Idaho remaining a non-disclosure state, or if you are against Idaho remaining a non-disclosure state. Yeah, it says certain data about closed real estate sales is not public.
Is that private industry regulation or state regulation?
Would you like to keep it the same or you want to change it?
Yeah. You want to
Thumbs up is keep it the same.
Thumbs up is keep it the way it is.
Can you go like this? Yeah, I don't know.
So what's the,
Without studying the issue, I can't answer that question.
Anybody else?
It's not a thumbs up or a thumbs down
Sure it is. Do you want the way it is or do you want to change it?
I think it needs to be revisited.
I need more study.
Okay, so more study for some of you, revisit it for some of you, it's fine the way it is for some of you. Okay. So all over the board is what I say.
All right, candidates, we will now allow you 1 minute for a concluding statement. And this time we'll actually start in the middle with you, Jack. And yeah, step forward.
One of the biggest reasons I want to run is during the last 7 months working with the Affordable Care Act, the one and the biggest thing I disagree with the whole thing across the board, other than the states or the national stuff. At the forum on Monday night, that was my answer. I love the fact that they stated that it is a federal issue until you get your federal legislatures to repeal the federal act. Your Health Idaho is protecting Idaho citizens. But they're giving away so many tax credits that it's ending up free for people. Literally, the plans have a zero premium, a zero deductible, with $1,000 max out of pocket for expenses for the year. And I don't want to see any of it be free. The Medicaid reform that is coming to our state, the Medicare reform that's coming, the health care reform that's coming, they're working on how to figure out how to give this stuff away, and none of it should be free. There should be a minimum fee of at least $10, and it should be a hand up, not a handout. I am against handouts. My name is Jack Mervin.
Thank you, and then Christian will move to you next.
I'm going to finish where I started here in my introduction speech. I believe Idaho needs to return our 62% of the lands the federal government controls. We need to make sure that the federal government is out of our business. On healthcare, I want to touch on that really fast here. Healthcare, I believe that we need to repeal the Idaho Healthcare Exchange. One of my solutions is a direct primary care system. This puts the money and the control back in the hands of the people and not the insurance companies. The insurance companies are what drives the rates up. This gives local control directly to the individual and their physician, whoever they decide to work with. So very good option there. And I actually helped Senator Stephen Thain of Emmett, Idaho by creating a video to explain the system to his colleagues. It really is a great platform. And we can create Idaho health care savings accounts as well. Let's put options in the hands of people. Let's get the power and control back to them so they can do what they want to do. Let them have the choice. Education. I believe education needs to be brought back down to the local level. I do not support Common Core. I do not support... That's it? Well, there you go. Again, Christian Fioravanti, I'm running for state senate. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Several of the things I'm for our area. The first thing I would like to do is create more jobs, jobs with living wages, jobs that you can support a family on and retire from. We could do this by opening up our resources and managing our logging, opening that back up so we can have a vibrant economy again. Another thing I'd like to see is the state legislature in the Idaho State Constitution. It shall fund the schools. It shall fund education, not put it on the backs of the taxpayers with these unconstitutional levies. We've had enough. would appreciate your vote on May 20th. Danielle Aarons for Senate. Thank you.
Again, Sean Keogh, your incumbent state senator and running for re-election. I've been honored and privileged to work for you. I hope that I can continue to have your confidence. I'm common sense oriented, I'm solution oriented, I have a very long track record of getting things done. I'm not rooted in rigid ideology, and I work very hard and listen to the people here in this district. I live here, I work here, I've raised my family, and I'll continue to work on all of the issues that you bring to me, as I have done. Thank you so much for your consideration. May 20th, Sean Keogh, State Senate, Republican ticket.
Well, some may say that I don't have enough leadership experience for this position. I own and operate a health services website. I am the current manager of the inventory, shipping, and customer service side of the business. I'm a wife and mother, raising our 5 children and running the household budget since my 20s. I'm in my 4th year of a leadership position with the Bonner County Republican Women, currently serving as president. As an executive board member of Angels Over Sandpoint, I helped to raise substantial money and oversee their budget. But remember, we are a constitutional republic. The county commissioner position requires bottom-up experience more than top-down. My professional career has been in small business and customer service. I pledge to be a citizen candidate, never forgetting that the county works for you, not the other way around. I will always remember that the citizens of the county hold the power. Victoria Zyshek, vote for me May 20th. You don't have to know how to pronounce my name or spell it. Just remember Victoria Z.
Thank you, Victoria.
Part of managing, being the commissioner is being the manager. In terms of leadership experience, in terms of working with large staffs, getting people to work together to come to a decision process. I had 22 years in the Marine Corps as an officer, and I did that on a continual basis, multi-million-dollar budgets, large staffs. In terms of this county, I have a commitment in my 33 years here as a citizen who is involved. I have 13 years on the Waterways Committee. I sit on the airport board. I've held numerous chairs in this county at all the levels, in both local and the county. And I'm a business owner, and I've owned 4 separate businesses over the years with as many as 8 employees. I understand from the bottom up, my 33 years here, looking back, what it's going to take to run this county, where the county's been, where it is now, and where it's going to go.
Thank you. My name is Marsha Phillips. I'm asking for your vote on May the 20th, and I'm telling you why. The reason why is because I have the experience. I'm the only one of the candidates in this race who knows how to run a county government. I know how to run the budget. I understand what a fiduciary is. It's important to know that a fiduciary is a person who's trusted with your money and spends it appropriately. I understand how to mitigate difficult legal situations and have done so without costing the county any money. I am the candidate who will take this county forward in a positive direction because I'm proactive. I collaborate with other elected officials. I've accomplished significant challenges and goals when I was in office before. We built a dispatch center. We have an EMS department. We have, oh my goodness, a comprehensive plan, and I just forgot the rest. I'm just too much in the lights. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Remember, May 20th, Marsha Phillips for experience, proactive leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Marsha. I believe that we together can build a better economy here in Bonner County. We're working together with our school districts, working with the city of Sandpoint, working with the local businesses, working with Bonner County to bring in fiber optic networks into Sandpoint. That will increase our education, that will increase our business technology, that will enable us to build better businesses and keep our children here instead of seeing them leave Bonner County to go find better jobs to support themselves and their families. I will make sure that we do this and that we can work together to build a better economy. Thank you. Please vote for Glenn Bailey.
I will continue to do all I can to support the logging and mining industries upon which the communities in our district depend and support other efforts to bring jobs to our district. My name is Shannon Mcmillan. I support District 7, and thank you.
Once again, I'm Sage Dixon, in case I didn't mention that earlier. What I'm representing is a return to the proper role of government. Government that allows you to do what you would like to do, offers you the opportunity to succeed and or fail, if that is what's going to happen, on your own merits. No input of government, no crony capitalism and opening markets for certain businesses and closing them to other people. Government that would allow you to do what's right on your land, to do what you wish to do. It won't restrict your rights. They're guaranteed in our Constitution. With that in mind, I would appreciate your vote on May 20th, Sage Dixon, for House of Representatives.
Thank you, and thanks to Daily Bee and the school paper for sponsoring this tonight. Thank you again for coming out. My name is George Eskridge. I am your incumbent legislator, and I ask for the honor of continuing to serve you this next 2 years. My legislative priorities are: number 1, fiscal responsibility; number 2, property tax reform; number 3, natural resource development; number 4, a safe and efficient highway system; and number 5, protection of our low-cost energy resource. Again, I appreciate you coming out. I am George Eskridge. I ask for your vote and your honor and your vote, and ask you to give me the honor of serving you again for the next 2 years. And thank you again for your attention tonight.
I want to thank you for your attendance here tonight, for your participation, and for your interest. If you elect me to the Idaho State House, it's not about me, it's about we. What can I do for you? What can I do for your family? What can I do for your business? I'd ask that you elect a thoughtful and experienced conservative leader. Please vote for me, Stephen Snedden, this May 20th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm Heather Scott. I just want to bring up one more thing from my previous talk. We are the only Republican state that set up that state healthcare exchange, the insurance exchange. All 26 other states refused to do this. And our legislators spent $70 million in taxpayer money to set up a communication funnel to the federal government. And I didn't get to say that last time, and I wanted to share that. You're welcome. I do believe we're on an unsustainable course, and we can no longer continue down the road that we're on. I believe that a well-educated voter is a powerful and necessary force to keep our government in check. And I believe Idahoans, people like me and you, with a can-do spirit, limited government, and hard work, and close-knit communities, together with personal responsibility, we can change this trend. What we lack in this republic is citizen engagement, and I'm hoping you get engaged and come out and vote. Thank you.
My name is Laura Bree, and I'm a Democrat. I really thank you all for being here. I have attended many of these events, and it's kind of interesting to be up on the stage, frankly. I'm asking Democrats who will vote the Democratic ballot, if you have a friend who votes straight ticket, and I know some Democrats are out there who vote straight ticket, they just always vote for Democrats. Well, this time, they're gonna have some choices in the legislative District 1 races. So they really need to know that that sweet gal who came up that night at the Daily Bee Cedar Post event, she's the one you vote for. And on the next race, they vote for the guy named Andrew. Thank you so much, and thank you all. You guys, the candidates are great. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll turn it over to David.
Well, candidates, thank you so much for your time and effort tonight. We really appreciate it. I learned a lot. How about you? Did you learn something? I also want to thank all of you for hanging out this long as well. Again, I think it takes some time sometimes to work through all this, and again, I learned some things, and I'm sure you all did too. Thanks for making it a priority to come out and learn about the candidates. I think that's really good. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Tyson for being here tonight. We started talking about this about a month ago or so, and again, decided to make it a registration drive to get 18-year-olds registered. And I think you would back me up on this to remind ourselves how great our kids are coming out of our high schools. They're all like Tyson Bird, wouldn't you say? Just be aware there'll be a few things coming up. Also, there's other forums going on. Check the Daily Bee for that. Check the clerk's website, all that kind of good stuff to make sure you can meet the candidates again. I'm sure that some of the candidates wouldn't mind hanging out a little bit later to talk to you. That'd be fine for a few minutes for sure. And also, watch for the sample ballot coming on the Daily Bee very soon. And also, we had sent questionnaires to all of the candidates. Other questions that you heard tonight, some are the same. Funny how that works out. And they'll be coming up in a Daily Bee really soon as well, so you can keep track of that. It's amazing to me to watch how many people vote on the sample ballot in the paper. You know, you hang out at the poll for any length of time and you watch people walk in with their sample ballots already filled out. All I would ask is that you spend some time to get to know the candidates. Learn what's important to them. Find out if they think what's important to you is important to them, and find out if they truly represent who you are and what you want to see in Boise or in the courthouse or in the commissioner's offices. Important stuff, no doubt about it, and it wouldn't be important. If it wasn't important, you wouldn't be here tonight, so I'm glad you made it important. And again, thank you so much for your time and attention tonight.
This is Chuck Smith, Videosmith Productions, Sandpoint, Idaho. Thank you.